Hey, today we're going to be talking about clone correct stocks for the SOPMOD Block I and Block II. Now, what do we mean by clone correct? Well, clone correct means these are stocks that were actually issued by SOCOM. In this video, we're just going to do a short overview on each of the stocks. And then I've put a considerable amount of time in kind of collecting these things, also money too. And I kind of want to just talk about what kind of prices you expect to pay for these, where can you find these items. So it's just going to be kind of a buyer's guide. So going left from right and oldest to newest, we have a Colt carbine stock. In the middle we have a Colt M4 stock. And then on the right, designed by Crane and also manufactured by LMT, but this one's particularly made by B5. This is the SOPMOD stock. Alright, let's start with the leftmost stock. This is called the Colt carbine stock. It originates from a design for the XM177E2 and the Gal 5. That stock used to have the same profile, but it was made out of aluminum and covered in vinyl. Those are pretty expensive nowadays, but Colt redesigned it. They made it out of their proprietary material called Fiberlite. It's basically a sort of a plastic composite. It's pretty straightforward. It's small in profile. It's pretty thin. It's not that high. It's pretty short too. There's a lot more surface area on the other stocks, and it's also really light. I guess I'm weighing it at 4.3 ounces. So it's a really straightforward stock. It's really simple, low profile, and low in weight. Okay. Now, this is Colt's M4 stock. So this is kind of I guess a redesign or kind of an upgrade. This one's a little bit heavier. It's a 6.4 ounces, and as we showed, it's got a more surface area. It's also got metal furniture on it to put your sling on it. But pretty pretty straightforward. Just a little bit heavier and a little bit bigger. And I think it's made out of a very similar sort of material. Get this hair out of the way. Okay, and then last, talk about the SOPMOD stock. So this one is a lot bulkier. It's about double the weight of the M4 stock. Weighs in at 11.7 ounces. If you look at it in this direction, it's a bit thicker than the other stocks. And it's got this kind of slanted profile. You can get a good cheek weld on it. Unlike the other ones, this one has a rubber butt, so you get a little bit more traction on it. And then last, so since it has this sort of profile, you can actually store things in here. So you can put batteries, you can put candy, Slim Jims, whatever you want. But yeah, so it's basically got a bit of a more comfortable cheek weld. It's got the same kind of profile. Alright, so before we go into the buyer's guide, we're just going to be talking about why. Why would you buy these? Now, if your goal is to buy, the best stock, I don't think any of these are really the best stock. If your goal is to buy a stock that works, all these stocks will do, If your goal is to spend the least amount of money, this is probably not the route you want to go. Now, the only reason I've paid money for these and spent a lot of time kind of researching it is because I enjoy, the collectability of them. Now, these are the actual stocks that were issued on this rifle. Now, if you look at pictures of, soldiers, SOCOM, with their SOPMOD Block I and Block II, they'll have other stocks on there. They'll have Magpul stocks. They'll have whatever, And Magpul stocks are probably really good compared to these stocks. You'll probably get a lot of bang for your buck. But these, like I want to reiterate, these are the stocks that were actually issued. And if you're interested in that, will go into, you know, how much they are and where to buy. Alright, get your wallets out. We're going to talk about money. This stock right here, this CAR stock, you're going to pay around $75 for it. Maybe a little bit more, depending on the condition. This M4 stock, somewhere around $30 or $40. And right here, I paid about $95 for this, but this one was brand new. These two were used, this was new. You're going to pay about $95, $100 for one of these SOPMOD stocks. Okay, so where are you going to buy these? For the used ones, check out eBay, check out Gunbroker, you can check out AR15.com's Equipment Exchange, you can check out Reddit, they got gun accessories for sale. Other sites just sell surplus stuff, like Thoroughbred Armament. There's a lot of sites that sell kind of used and surplus military gear for cloning. What else? Shark Arms is another one. But yeah, that's kind of the going rate for these things. If you're buying things used, you got to be careful and make sure that you're getting the thing that you actually want. If you buy it from a reputable site, they're going to kind of do the curating for you. You can just pay them the money. You'll pay a little bit of a premium, but you'll make sure that you get like a legit item. But if you're going on eBay or Gunbroker, you got to be careful. So at least in this video, since we have video, just study the mold marks, right? If something doesn't look like this, like look at the texture, look at the mold marks, right? Look here, look at the texture, look at the mold marks. If it doesn't look similar, it's probably not the real thing, okay? So what are you gonna look for? At least on this one, okay? Again, what I see, you gotta make sure these ribs are here, you gotta make sure this sling loop's here, you gotta make sure this is circular. There's sometimes like squared off, those aren't real. They won't all have it, I've heard, but there's gonna be a one molding right there. Let's see, let's make sure this is in focus. There's also gonna be an N. Let's see if we can get that. There's an N there. Okay. And if it's used, generally to me, when things are used, it means I don't know. It doesn't seem fake to me. You'll find some that are new in the wrapper, but they're going to be a little bit more rare. But it should look like this, If there's a rack mark on it, it's probably the real thing. Okay. For this one, this is also a very copied one. The thing that I see, and not even copied, but there's commercial versions of this that are not the same thing, not made by the same manufacturer. Look for this 90-degree angle right here. If you don't see this 90-degree angle, and you see something that's kind of got a curved sort of piece of plastic, that's not what you're looking for. Also, airsoft ones will have the same shape, but the plastics will be totally different. Now, the only thing you're gonna have to be careful with is this is not the only kind of there's two manufacturers of this stock, at least. Okay, the original ones, I guess Colt either made them in-house or they contracted someone else to make it. They're gonna look more like this. But later on, another company called PNS, they made it for Colt, and they actually have they're made of a different material, and they'll look a little bit different. The older ones will be kind of smoother. Like if you see this plastic, it ramps up. On the newer ones, there's kind of a line that kind of transitions from this angle to that angle, and you'll see it. This doesn't look as smooth. The plastic will look different, and then also there's going to be cage codes. Now, cage codes, when you see cage codes, they're probably legit, but if you want an older stock like this, there's going to be no cage code. So just kind of look for the same molding marks, see if it's got the same sort of texture and plastic. Look at the shapes and everything, and that's what you're gonna have to go after. That's where you have to go on knowing if something's legit or not. Okay. Last we got this B5 stock. Now, this is a Gen 1 stock. All right, LMT and B5 made it. Also, Crane made it too. what you're going to want to look for are these cage codes, and you're going to want to look for this. There's going to be a small hole. There's going to be other SOPMOD stocks that have a bigger hole that you can put like a QD socket in. These are going to have the smaller ones. The Gen 1s have the smaller holes. Now, you can buy these from LMT, or you can buy these from B5. Well, you can't buy them from directly, but they're going to be made by B5 or LMT. They're generally the same. You can buy them in black. You can buy them in Coyote. The only thing you have to watch out for is the early B5 ones. Maybe the moldings weren't exactly right, so they're a bit tight on the buffer tube. But this one in particular is totally fine. But yeah, that's what you're going to want to look for. You're going to want to look for this hole. If it's made by LMT, there's going to be an LMT mark right there, but B5 doesn't have it. And again, just kind of study the lines and shapes. Now, you don't have to buy these used. I bought this one brand new from Thoroughbred Armament. I've also seen Brownells carry it. And they're going to call them like the Gen 1 SOPMOD stock made by B5, or they're going to say government contracted stock. But you're generally going to find these made by B5. The LMT ones are a little bit rare, and they're going to also be a little bit more expensive. Now, there's also alternatives. First of all, like I said earlier in the discussion, you can put whatever stock you want on your SOPMOD Block 1 or your SOPMOD Block 2. They make commercial versions of this stock. They're a bit cheaper, but this one's $30 or $40, so not that much cheaper. This one's, I would say, since it's $70, Brownells and B5, the maker of this stock, actually they've redesigned and remanufactured the stock. So Colt doesn't make this stock anymore, but Brownells makes a version of it, and to me it looks very close. I would say the plastic's probably different, but it looks very close. I haven't bought one myself, but I think they're about $30, $35. So if you don't want to pay $70 or $80 for an old beat up stock like this, that's also another option. Okay, so which one should you buy? If you're a collector like me, you gotta buy them all, because you gotta have them all. If you just want one stock, I would say, if you want something that's a little bit more modern, you can store stuff in it, it's got a good cheek well, it's comfortable, I would say you should, before they run out of them, you should pick up one of these Gen 1 contract stocks, right? If you want something that is kind of iconic looking on the M4 platform, I would say these M4, these waffle stocks are pretty good, and they're $30 or $40. They're really easily found. I was talking about the older Colt ones or the newer P&S contracted out ones. They both go for about the same price, which is $30 to $40, and sometimes cheaper if they're kind of beat up. And if you want like a really kind of classic look or a retro look, you got to go for one of these stocks. I would say out of all of them, this is the most comfortable, but I like this stock as well. Like, this one feels a little bit fat, but this one's pretty good. This one's a little bit too short, honestly, but it's lightweight. This one's also lightweight, and this one's just a little bit heavier. If you don't like any of these stocks, like I said, you can just get a Magpul stock, you can get a CTR stock, or whatever you want. But these are the ones that are issued, and all these will be clone correct on your SOPMOD Block 1 and Block 2. And I hope this was very helpful. It would have been nice when I was looking for them, if someone had a guide on them, but there's information here and there that you need to kind of piece together, and I'm just trying to aggregate it all together so you can have more time for hunting for these stocks. So I hope that's helpful, and I appreciate you watching.